I mean, if it wasn't for her with me and my journey with retinitis pigmentosa, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been so positive when it came to the adjusting stage of when your vision changes. So in 2017, that's when I wasn't able to go outside and see anything at all. And then it went from, when I go outside, it's nothing but shadows and light. And inside of the house or inside of any building or any residence, it's just extremely blurry. And I have no depth perception, so I obviously am going to misplace things. I'm obviously going to run into things. It is what it is. And I just have to be careful with where I'm at and how quickly I adapt to certain things. And as you guys can tell, like, it's, you could imagine moving or being homeless can be quite the adjustment for myself. And luckily, I have people that'll help me. Was grateful for Molly was mirrorless makeup. She did I don't know so much a series, but I did see a video of how to do mirrorless makeup, how to like contour, how to apply eyeshadow in different ways and in different, designs and stuff like that without using a brush, without using any utensils for makeup. Because I have a strong sense of touch and because, like if I use a brush on my eyes or if I use a brush on my face, then what ends up happening is it's like a separation. So I can't feel through that object. And obviously the soft bristles, I'm not going to be able to feel like where to glide on my eyes. And I'm not relying on the camera or relying on a mirror to use as a reference. A lot of people that are sighted use the, they basically use the mirror or the camera to use as a reference so that they don't mess up their eye look or their makeup, so to speak. So I did appreciate her showing how she does her makeup, and then obviously if I'm done, I'll go to my husband and ask, is everything aligned? Am I missing something, or did I make a mistake on my eyes or my face or whatever? And then he'll tell me I did it fine. And I can just go about and then just reapply wherever I need to if I know I need to reapply. But I remember going to other blind and visually impaired individuals that I've known for years. And I remember telling them, I want to wear, this was before I discovered Molly back in, 2018. And I said, how am I going to wear makeup? And they're like, you just don't. And I'm like, okay, that kind of defeat, that type of, to me, it's negative thinking. And I get that some blind women don't wear makeup and it's just something that they prefer. Like, I don't wear it. Yeah, but you don't have to discourage other people who do enjoy something like that. Let me talk to you, interview. Rather than focusing on the blindness. Oh, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? Like, to me, that's annoying. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people that are non-disabled, hell, even people that are disabled, I've gotten so much, nosiness from people that aren't disabled. But not only are they nosy about how I do things because I'm deaf-blind and because I have a fatal illness, like, all I get is, well, how do you do things? Like, what do you do all day? Do you sit around and twiddle your thumbs? Like, are you kidding me? Are you seriously kidding me? Oh, well, you're a content creator. That's just not a real job. Like, that you can be done in like 2 hours. this takes up most of my time. Now that I'm monetized, this takes up, like, you can ask my husband, you can ask the people around me, that you don't get a day off with this.
I can't get a day off to save my life.
I wasn't going to know. There is no telling. With RP, there is no telling of how much you're going to lose, if it's going to stay the same. We don't know. It's really not in our hands. It's out of our control. So I'd rather figure out how to do things that I already enjoy rather than be in that cycle of, oh, I'm not going to be able to do anything, and stay in that negative stance. Because I see a lot of people that are in the blind community alone that do this, that just stay in that negativity, stay in that divvy. Oh, I'll never do anything, I'll never amount to anything, I'll just stay at my parents forever. Like, I never had that option. You know, being kicked out at 15, I never had that option. And it's nice to see, you know, people that are disabled with their families and how they have that closeness. It is nice to see that. It is encouraging, because not all of us have that are blind or disabled, because a lot of, especially like the more severe disabilities, a lot of families are very abusive, very toxic, very, like, people you don't want to be around. Like, if you know that that person's going to make your health worse, whether mentally or physically, you know you don't want to be around them. You know that they're not good for you in your life. It is what it is, right? But for me, I don't bash her. I don't judge her based on her relationship with her mom. I don't judge her or bash her that she's so close with her mom, and her mom's her manager, and her mom's willing to help her. Like, how many parents do we know that are older generation that are have that type of patience? Okay, not very many parents that I know of people that are disabled, whether they're on the spectrum, whether they're, you know, they have the more physical, debilitating disabilities, whether they're blind, whether they're deaf, whether they're both, whether they're chronically ill. Not very many parents are patient. So I appreciate, you know, her mom. And I remember commenting, I don't remember what video. I've commented so many times on Molly's video, and she does appreciate her fans. She does appreciate her followers. She does appreciate people that support her, you know. And I remember commenting, and it was her mom that commented and said, "Thank you so much, I appreciate it." And I thought that was sweet, you know. I know that a lot of people want to judge that for whatever thing they got going in their brain there, but who are we, you know? But she's been on YouTube for a long time, you know, and I think we should see it as a positive, as her being on the Daily Show, you know, with Trevor Noah. I know that a lot of people want to downplay it or think of it as a negative thing. I think for me, the only issue that I had with her interview is that people only want to focus on your disability. They don't want to focus on you as a person. If you look at the catalog of her channel, it's more than just her blindness. It's more than just her ailments she doesn't speak on. It's more than that. Given this quote, I don't know how many times, every time I meet people, or I meet people that just like, oh my gosh, you're so helpless. Oh my gosh, you're so useless. Like, that's the connotation that I get when I meet people, certain people. And like, how do you do it? Like, if I were you, I'd be getting high and drunk all day. I would have killed myself a long time. Like, I don't need to fucking hear that. Like, if you're gonna have those types of comments, keep that shit to yourself. Seriously. Like, nobody needs to hear that, you know? But I think that more and more people need to talk about this. And if you're gonna bring somebody on, like, if you're a huge platform, if you're in the industry, and I know that a lot of the people in the industry do watch us, whether they want to admit that or not, But if you're like an agent or you're somebody that would want to work with Molly, or maybe you're someone who wants to aspire like Molly in your own way, obviously, I think we need to push the narrative and not so much focus on the disability, not so much focus on, okay, how do you do things? Like, how the hell are you doing it? Or, like, I think we really need to focus on the individual. Like, for the next, I want to see the next person that brings on Molly. I don't care what network, I don't care what talk show, I don't care what big time famous person, okay? The next person that brings on Molly, I really want them to see her for who she is. I really do. Like, I don't want another interview about, oh, well, how do you do dating? How do you go on the app? How do you do this? Like, I don't want to hear that. We know, those of us who have watched her for many years, we know all of this. So give her the credit that she deserves. Give her the time of day. And let's be real. Those of you who want to judge my words right now, you would want the exact same thing. You wouldn't want somebody to know you just for your disability, because that's insulting on many levels. She's more than just her blindness. She's more than that. So give her the credit for that. She's been a public speaker way before she became blind. It's not everything who you are. It's not all of who you are. It's not who you are. It's a part of you. Whether you're disabled, whether you have an injury, maybe you went through trauma, maybe you have mental health issues. Regardless of your life circumstances, it's not who you are. It's a part of you. And I really want to see that. I want to start seeing that from, people that are higher influence or of higher standards when it comes to celebrity. I really want people to focus on, it doesn't even just have to be Molly Burke. Okay, it doesn't just have to be her. It can even be, channels, Squeaky and Squirmy. They've been given so much animosity, with him being disabled and her not being. They're what is called a interabled relationship, because one is would be considered a caretaker and the other one is actually disabled. But she actually genuinely cares about him and loves him. God forbid, right? But I'm seeing so many negative comments about them. They admitted that they refused a Dr. Phil opportunity. They've admitted that Dr. Phil is all about drama and animosity, and they wanted them to bash a couple that was like them. Just for views. Just for ratings. And I gave them props for that. And then the people that are, the cult-like following of Dr. Phil, gave them so much shit for that. Oh, you know what you're talking about. That's not how Dr. Phil is. Like, you have no idea how TV works. A lot of you guys have no idea how TV truly actually works. Regardless of how he may act as an individual, we don't know him. We know the TV version of him. We know his persona. And everybody does this. Everybody, like the majority of people on YouTube aren't real and authentic. The majority of people that are on YouTube are a persona or a character. If you don't believe me, ask me a source. Like, let's be real. A lot of people are personas. And those of us that are real and genuine don't get the credit we deserve. I'm just being real.